Did you ever struggle to shoot that video, but you didn't believe your idea was good enough? Have someone ever made a mean comment about a video or anything you created and they called that a feedback, but actually it was very hard to come back from it? Do you consider yourself a resilient creator, or do you always fight with being consistent and actually believing that the things you create are actually good? But we do new videos, take pictures, create podcasts because we want to share our ideas and thoughts with an audience that we plan to build, right? So if you ever got stuck as if it was very hard to go out and create, I believe this video is for you. I want to bring you in a chill, cozy conversation about those hard times, and believe me, I've been there multiple times. So we're going to start our conversation talking about the big source of motivation that we bring along with content creation, that is our ego. Our ego is that driving source that really wants to be recognized, really wants to be liked, and it sucks. It sucks for your ego whenever someone dislikes your work, and we sometimes have a miscommunication inside of us that believes that whenever someone doesn't like your video or your piece of art that you put out there, we sometimes tend to think that they also don't like us, and that really sucks. One of the biggest reasons for creators to give up of doing what they gotta do, or maybe putting a video out in the world or that podcast that you always wanted to have, is whenever they face disapproval, either audience disapproval or clients disapproval. I was reading this phrase on the internet that I really liked. Sometimes life puts you in touch with the people that you need to meet to help you grow, bloom, and blossom. And if you ever stop into those people that instead of helping you grow and bringing positive words, they just come with negative thoughts that they call feedbacks and bring you down, I really need you to remember those two things that will help you to overcome and build your resilience. Number one, your identity is not your art. My video is not who I am. My video is not who Jamine actually is. For example, you like making cakes, and one day you make a chocolate cake for a person. Person eats, get a bite, and say, I don't like that. Doesn't mean that the person doesn't like you, but maybe the person doesn't like chocolate, or the cake was too sweet, or whatever the ingredient you had that the person has an allergy. You cannot control people's tastes, but what you can control is how do you bring that to yourself in the conversation you have with yourself in your mind. So be kind to yourself and understand that the piece of work that you bring out there, if someone ever step into you and say bullshit, saying that they don't like or they disapprove of something similar, don't bring it personal. It's not about you. And the second thing I want you to remember is a taste is just a taste. It's not a defined truth. So if someone doesn't like it, it's just related to their taste. And it definitely hurts hearing those hard feedbacks. I used to work in the industry, and one day I worked very hard, very intensely in a video, and I came to my boss and I showed my video to him, and he looked at me and say like, that was a piece of shit. Did you took 2 hours to do it? And I was kind of gabbling, and it was okay. Yeah, it took 2 hours. I not even stand up to myself and actually gave the correct answer because I was facing a very awkward situation. And I remember how that made me feel super bad, that I didn't want to come back and edit that video anymore. I was over it, and I felt like I was a failure on that job. But you know what? You have all the rights to feel bad whenever those situation happens, and you can cry whatever you gotta cry. You can feel whatever you need to feel, but don't let those type of comments just make you stop creating. And the second part I want to talk with you is related to your inner conversation. The conversation you keep in your mind within yourself is very private and secure, but that's the one that tells the truth related to what you believe or not. So if you have positive conversations, if someone comes and says something not very positive related to your work, you're not gonna let that affect it, because you're gonna be protected with the narrative that you're teaching yourself in your private conversation. But if you have negative thoughts related to your work, if you don't believe on you, if you have a lack of confidence, whenever someone comes and just bring that ball on you, that will be very hard to come back again. So if you want to build resilience with your creative project, if you want to keep posting videos, if you want to keep going with your podcast, you need to change the narrative and the stories you tell yourself. And one tip that I have for you that helped me kind of clean the conversation I had inside of me because it was super negative. I was going through the imposter syndrome, feeling that I wasn't good enough, and everything that I was doing, even those YouTube videos, were all a piece of garbage. And you know what helped me to shift the conversation I was having inside of me? So I started to screenshot all the positive comments and all the positive energies I was receiving about my work and just sticking into it. And one thing that I do since 2017 is that I send future letters to myself. You can go to this website called Future Me, and there you can write a letter for your future self. You can choose any date in the future. I usually send to myself to my birthdays and New Year's Eve because I feel like those are special days for me. And whenever I come back to those past letters and I see my future dreams and how I was able to achieve dream after dream, I just shut up all the negative thoughts because at the end of the day, they're just trying to make you stop. And another tip that I have for building your resilience as a creator is to be aware of the state you are right now. For example, if you're learning a new language, let's say French, and you come and stop with a French native speaker, and you get some corrections in your French because you don't provide the best pronunciation, for example, I would say just be open, receive that feedback, and you grow and evolve around that. The same can happen with a creative area. Let's say you're learning about filmmaking and someone comes and say, oh, you didn't expose your video correctly. It's common to us to take those comments very personal and think that people are attacking us, but sometimes they're giving you tips that will help you to grow eventually. But if you're aware of the stage you are and you understand that you're constantly learning, those feedbacks will not hurt you at all. And the last thing I want to share with you today is that resilience builds authenticity. If you're able to be okay with your failures, be okay with bad comments that people might throw at you, and have a nice and solid conversation within yourself, you're gonna have a shield that protects you to keep doing your content. That will definitely lead you to deeper connection and a more authentic brand as a creator. Whenever you just feel comfortable with your flawless, and you'll be okay that you might not throw the most perfect video ever because your skills are still getting there and you are comfortable with the space you are, that just helps you to keep going, keep posting, and keep doing that thing. And for all of you, I just wish you all become more resilient with your content creation path. The longer you're gonna keep on this journey and the more results you bring to your life. If you like this video and you learn one thing or two, I ask you to subscribe to this channel. And if you stay until the end of this video, put down an emoji with an octopus and just stay good, my friend. I wish you keep creating, and I see you in the next video.